Hair is dripping wet. Okay. I got all my clothes in my backpack. Maybe something else like in there. This is why he's yelling like, "Oh, I'm in your ass." I got my stuff right here. Over like this. Let's get it over with. Over, over and over and over again. They do it over and over and over again. They lie over and over and over again. in the other room. You can clearly hear it in here. It's not me. This is all medical supplies. Every single day, the same thing with the same supplies every day that don't light up or go on fire. You're fucking... Just fucking... These are medical scissors. So they're scissors. I actually cut this one off that I just wore in the shower because I got to put a new one on. A new bandage. So I cut this bandage off my leg, and then I put a new bandage on my leg. In order to do that, I use scissors. And then I have little bags full of separate medical supplies in it. So I've got a 4x4 that comes in a separate wrapper. I've got tape, new tape. I'm using the gray gloves right now because I got my auxiliary kit. My other gloves came too, but those were supposed to come. I ran out of the other ones and I waited until these ones came, so it didn't do me any good to have extra hand gloves to put a bandage on them if they weren't here. This has got some sort of plastic covering over it, so I got a new bottle of sodium chloride. That goes over the top part of that. And this is actually holding my phone there, isn't it? I gotta put this flip up there to hold you there. Hold my phone. There. And then I actually take this and stick it in my glove, this. And then I put another hand glove on because I gotta finish wrapping my leg, so that was just the old bandage that I put inside that plastic gray glove that goes on my hands with fingers that aren't snapping because he's snapping at the dog that's out in the other room. This right here dries the edges of my wound. And I stick all the wrappers from wrapping my leg into a glove that I put the old bandage in. Because I got to get all new wrappers out. Because I got to put a new bandage on. So all this is new wrapping. I have to open each package. This is a bandage roll package. I'm going to open it. This is zero form. Then I open it. This is the longer leg padding that goes on the front of my wound. The larger open wound area. And this smaller one goes on the back of my leg because it's the smaller part of where the wound is at. Man, that's an extra 4x4. Now I gotta add medicine to my leg before I do anything else. So I apply ointment to the edges of my wound. After I apply that medicine, I have a different one that I gotta apply. I opened this one already. Yeah, I did. So I'm just gonna use this one today. Goes on my leg, just on the wound, on the inner part of the wound, and not the outer part of the wound. I laugh because I used to be like, my legs hurt so bad. And I was like, ah. And it started when the lawsuit happened. So I think a doctor started messing with my medicine and my food, and they were stealing it out of my fridge so that I wouldn't have it, so that my legs would hurt. And I just remember like being like, oh my God. Like Sunday would come after I'd done working, and I like couldn't even stand up. Like just smashed my legs with a baseball bat. That would make it feel better. If you put a ton of pressure on it and just keep pushing it, it'll feel better. And they just were in excruciating pain. And I laugh because the loser that's always been involved in the case on the other side that stole my money, because their attorney stole my money. And so that's why he does what he does. And I am sitting right here actually doing this. When they had stole my money, they were trying to make it look like I do drugs that I don't do. So my dad used to bring ice cubes over to my house because they had an ice maker that made a ton of ice cubes, and you drink it in water. And I've always been sick, so my dad would always bring ice cubes over to me, even when I ran out, extra ones, because he wanted me to hold on to the glass too, because it was keeping my body temperature down. I don't think he wanted them to know that's what it was for. And so this loser that lived in like some white trash house somewhere that stole everything and embezzled all of my money and tried to hold me hostage, he actually, they tried to bug my condo. And when I was in Mackinac Island with Peter Passel and Chris, he broke into my condo with his brother that I was dating at the time, Andrew. Let Kenneth dodge inside my house, inside my condo when I was in Mackinac Island. And they actually, I think he stole my Aberdeen's checks out of my room too, which is why she told me to put them in my room and hide them in my bed. And so that's what I did with them. And anyways, they broke in, and this entire time, he wanted people to think that, like, my family was his family, and it was the opposite way around. It's not. I grew up in a neighborhood with all, like, judges and doctors and attorneys and teachers. And so, and everybody's, like, lawns were always done, and nobody's house was messy. My car is never messy. We didn't live that way. Like, there wasn't drugs or alcohol in our house at all, ever. And so, he wanted people to think that that was my family's house, their family's house. And that my dad was bringing me ice. And I didn't even know what the fuck ice was, because I don't do that. And so, mind you, this is right when an attorney stole my money, because they were supposed to send my lawsuit money check to my condo. And the mailman and Kenneth Dodge and Max Anderson, who was the mailman at the time involved in it, stole my mail and changed my check around. And so the mailman kept trying to say he wasn't going to deliver my fucking mail. And I was like, are we in the United States? Yes, you are. So what they did was they stopped delivering our mail, and all of us got shut-off notices for our water at one point. And they hung it out on the door outside and said that we didn't pay that the water just got shut off and nobody ever paid their bill. It's because we never got our fucking mail. But he wanted to make it look like we weren't paying it, because it was the attorney on the opposite side that was stealing the money. And, mind you, this attorney is addicted to cocaine. So he steals the money for his own good. It don't matter what case it is, what he's doing it for, how he's doing it. He just wants money. You're fucking dead. And, the condo was mine. And actually, my lawsuit money that came was supposed to be a $300,000 check that ended up being, like, to me, a 3%, 10% check that didn't even come at 10%. They actually took taxes out before I got the check, which apparently weren't paid. So I had to pay them on top of that. So I had to pay taxes on another $15,000 when I did my taxes, because the fake letter that they made from that attorney's office took $7,000 out for attorney's fees for the lawsuit that I won. They took out tax money from the lawsuit that I won. And then my check came and it was like maybe $9,000. And I still had the paperwork inside that house because he was making fake spreadsheets and fake paperwork. And they stole my Mercedes-Benz. And he was trying to have me sign fake paperwork inside this. He was like, oh, I got a really good opportunity for you. You can open this restaurant and da-da-da-da-da. And it was all on purpose because they wanted me to sign all this shit. So he was trying to get me to sign on my car, on the Mercedes, and try to sign over the restaurant to me because these people were, like, in debt and they owed money. And so he wanted me to put it in my name so it looked like that's where my stolen money went to. And I wouldn't do it. So we're in a huge, humongous fight. Still are. Because they break into all of my accounts, my bank accounts, and they're stealing all of my money still. And changing all of my information around still. They even had the audacity to get on my account and try to take out a phone bill. Said that it was automatic pay. 3 days before the bill's even due. Automatic pay wouldn't even come out, doesn't come out until the day your bill is due. So they were trying to steal money, and I'm assuming because I'm supposed to have my free Q-Link phone, somebody's stealing this money that I'm paying for a phone bill through Metro PCS and making it look like I still have this phone's my Q-Link phone, and they're keeping the phone bill payment. So I was like, I'm glad you have the wrong numbers. Because he tries to overdraft my bank account by taking auto pays out before they're due. So that's why, like, when I was working at the restaurant, I was like, what is going on? I would change something, like these buttons in the back computers, and then you'd have to reboot the whole system out front, like every computer for each server, so that they could go out and, like, you'd add a new button for, like, let's say that, we were serving steak and lobster, and I had to put a new steak and lobster button on so it would show up on their screens. By the time I'd reboot everything, somebody would change all the information around the computer so that somebody on, like, one of my employees or one of the servers would print out a tab and it would have that steak and lobster button come out in the one that I added to it. And it would have, like, a different price on it. So then the server would have to come up to me and be like, can you fix this bill? And then he'd have the phone ring and I'd go pick up the phone and be like, oh yeah, we're here. We need to bill for whatever, for the restaurant. But they asked for Heather. Because mind you, I'm the one working there. I'm the one taking the calls, and I'm the one that they have to be directed to. So it was bills for the restaurant that they were calling to get. And he was trying to make it look like they were, like, bills I wasn't paying. And so when someone would come collect for something for the restaurant, he would be like, I'm sorry, but we don't have enough in the account to give them right now, so you're just going to have to tell him no. Because he wanted me to have to tell him no, and he wanted me to have to answer the phone call. And I ran around in fucking circles for no reason after I figured out what he was doing. So, like, I'd be in the middle of, like, doing something, and he'd have, like, somebody call the restaurant. Because he'd, like, sit there and watch me on a fucking camera on a cell phone. He'd put the camera up and then, like, stalk me all fucking day on a cell phone. And then I'd go to leave, and I'd get home to my condo, and I'd pull in the back. I have to go 100,000 miles an hour just to get out of there. And I'd pull into my garage and shut the garage, and then I could come inside the house, like, inside the garage. And by the time I got up the stairs, Peter Pass would be at my fucking door, and he was just at the restaurant. And he'd be banging on the side edge of my window, which I had to put a covering up over. Because if I didn't, he was standing out there, staring at me and my daughter, who were the only one in the condo at the time. Until I got a special lock on the door, he used his realtor key to come inside. Because they were going to make it look like it was theirs. Guess what? I made a report against that mailman, and they were all so pissed off at me. And I was like, why would you be mad at me? I never had to ask a fucking mailman to deliver, like, I've never had to call somewhere and be like, excuse me, but the mailman refuses to deliver our mail. And if it snows after you leave the house in the morning, he won't deliver your fucking mail. He said there's snows on a step. And their agreement was that it was supposed to have, the condo complex wasn't finished, and that the mailboxes were supposed to be all put up in one area, and he was supposed to be able to drive up to them and put the mail inside those. And since the condo complex hadn't finished the condos, they didn't put those mailboxes up. So instead they put mailboxes on all the 8 condos that were there. And so he refused to deliver our mail. That's what he said. So this motherfucker, if you even shoveled, there wasn't even any snow because there was like a little roofing over your stairs, and there's like no front yard at all, and so there's just like stairs to the condo, and they're like 3 stories, and so all he had to do was walk up 2 little steps, and all the condos are attached to each other, and there's only 8 of them, so he had to put 8 people's mail in mailboxes. She's making it up. Her legs don't really hurt. Can you see it inside of this one? Because this one hurts all the time, all night. Like, this is a leg that's actually bothering me, my left leg. You can hear it. Right here. My feet are curved in. And he had me walking so far with a like 80-pound backpack on my back, so it was making my feet curve in more, and my bones must have not been, they weren't really, I was getting in a lot of pain too from that, so you can hear it do it again. But, and I got vitiligo on this ankle. You can see it. See how it's like white there? My whole ankle, this ankle, right here, where it's bad, this was all vitiligo right here on the inside of my leg. It's just you couldn't hardly see it because it was on the inside of my leg. And unless I get really, really tan, then you can see it more. But I love Liars. I mean, they fit in everywhere, don't they?